Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. Let's see here. Just checking here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. That is me. I hear myself. Perfect. Okay. Welcome. It's Sunday. And I just wanted to talk about what I read this week. It was a pretty big kind of a pretty big read for the past couple of days. I went down to Galaxy Comics and I picked up my pull list. I haven't been there in about a month or so, so there was quite a few books there. A couple of really, I'm glad that I'm glad that I went down. I don't have it there, but they had Animal Castle #3 in my pull box, which was great. So I had previously missed out on it, and with some of those books, I'm always worried that I'm never going to see them again, and I'm going to have to order them online or something. So great to get Animal Castle #3. I haven't read it yet, so we won't be talking about that this week. I'll probably talk about it next week. Gorvidal, good evening. How are you? So let's just jump right into it. So one of the things that I grabbed from one of the local auctions from the Comic Addicts, I think I spoke about it before. I got 3 of, I think it's a 4-issue series. No, it's not a 4-issue. I think it's a 6 maybe, because this one was to be continued. So it's Call from Dark Horse, and this is 2008. I'd read the first issue and I wasn't so sure if I was going to like it. I finished them off anyway, 3 and 4. So it's a retelling of the origin story. And actually, it kind of gets better as you go and get into it. I actually enjoyed it once I made it to issue 4. It's nothing that we haven't seen before, but there's some really nice kind of art touches here. So weird doing this on the phone these days, but I really like this page here with the ghost of one of the previous kings going through the hallways as Brule and Cull are kind of in these secret passages, and Brule is kind of taking him around. Hello, Ragamuffin. Um, so it's not bad. I think I will, because after reading that issue #2, I was thinking, I don't know if I'm going to continue with this or not, but I'm glad I gave it another shot and read these other 2. I think I will kind of keep my eyes out for them to have a good reread of that origin. Yeah, enjoyable. I've kind of taken a break on the older Cull stuff because honestly, I'm getting a little burnt out from that Cull later on in that series where he's just sort of he's gone to hell and battled that crystal warrior and stuff. It's just kind of getting it's not as engaging for me. It's kind of boring, to be honest, those later issues. I think the earlier stuff is great. We'll see how this one ends. I'm looking forward to getting into the next volume where we're going to explore more of that, the ideas of him battling with being the king and stuff. So we'll see how that sits, but I'm kind of getting a little, I'm reading it a lot less than I was. I have a couple of issues left that I've bought. I still have to find the last few issues for that first volume. I think I am on to, let's see here. I'm just about to read issue number 22. So 21 issues in. And I think there was, 27, 28. I've also got some Red Sonja standing by to read next. But I do want to finish off that Cull run because I'd love to see what they have for us in the next volume. Maybe get back to exploring some of the themes that I'm a little more interested in, as opposed to these, all of the characters, all of the creatures and everything. They're all fantastic, and the design is everything, and the art is really great and everything. But I'm just kind of feeling burnt out. So that is Cull. How am I going to do this? We'll just do that. Perfect. I spoke about this one already today during our chat. So Rasa and I had the chat today. No Damien this time. But I won't talk about this one too much more, other than this is issue number 2, and I love it. The first one was enjoyable, kept me interested enough to come back. This one has really sold me to stay on with this series. I found this one a lot of fun. It was right what I needed, I guess. Who knows, maybe if I read it at a different time, I wouldn't enjoy it as much, but I thought this was really great. So I'd suggest checking it out. Even if you miss issue number 1, you can still get a sense of the fun here with just issue number 2. Another one we talked about this afternoon, Orphan and the Five Beasts, issues number 2 to 4. An absolute fucking blast of a comic. Hello, Damien, Sleepy Reader. An absolute blast of a comic. I love these 3 issues so much. Yeah, it's really, really great. We spoke about Black Hole as well, to the one back issue. I'm firing through some of these so we can get to the meat of the ones that we didn't get a chance to talk about today. Beautiful. It really makes me want to try to dig for these Black Hole single issues. I would love to pick these up and read it again like this. Oh yeah, you got it as well too there. Hey, Damien. That's good. I'm glad to hear that you liked it. I really want to read this in singles. I have the big, thick, fat hardcover that I bought a lifetime ago and read a lifetime ago. Sitting with this art, I found this extremely immersive, very, very immersive experience. Unlike other stuff, you know, as much as I can kind of get into the books that I'm reading and stuff, this one had a different kind of hold on me as I was reading it. And I don't think it had to do with the hash, but maybe a little bit. But I thought this was beautiful. It's beautiful work. Also seeing his work just in this very crisp, kind of glossy-ish paper, just the precision and shit. It's unbelievable. But I, like I said this afternoon, I've really put myself to a task, because I don't think this is going to be easy finding those single issues at all. I really think I'm going to have a little bit of problems with that. Hello, John DaCosta. How the hell are you? I've got chat going here and here, and this one seems to be popping up earlier. It took me 6 years to track down the singles for Black Hole. Adam helped me out with the last issue. Oh, that's amazing. 6 years though, hey? Did you, I mean, you don't have to tell us prices or nothing, but were the early issues, like, was issue 1 a really difficult one, and was it really pricey? Because that's the thing I'm figuring is going to happen, that I'm going to grab these early issues, or hunt down these early issues, and they're going to cost me, you know, 25, 30 bucks, something like that is what I'm imagining. That's not based on anything. At the beginning of our chat this afternoon, we talked Behemoth, and I praised this one, this Until My Knuckles Bleed. Maybe we'll take a second to talk about this a little bit more again here, just for people who don't watch that afternoon chat. This was a surprisingly good read. So the Behemoth stuff, Damien, Sleepy Reader, and then Chaos on Comics had mentioned Behemoth, and probably a couple of other people, but those are the 2 people that jump to my head when I think of Behemoth, because of that heavy metal drummer. So in kind of looking through that stuff, seeing some ads for other Behemoth titles, I'm glad that this one was in my comic shop. Very, very surprised. I was really attracted to the art a lot. It has, it seems to reference everything from like Kirby there, to 90s Image Comics, to Frank Miller, to Darwin Cook. It's a really beautiful book here. This is recommended for, first and foremost, for the art style. I think the art is incredible. Victor Santos, I'm guessing, does absolutely everything here. But the Frank Miller worship on display in here is just enormous. But like I said, there's still touches of a bunch of other artists. And then we get into the color. Oh, really, Damien? So 2 and 3, Knuckles 2 and 3, is that what you're saying? Maybe I'm misreading. Maybe I'm misreading what you're saying there. I thought that this was just coming out now. There's a panel for you. There's a Frank Miller panel, Sin City panel right there. So I enjoyed this. I'm very curious to see where it's going to go. The other thing I'll say about Behemoth is like the paper quality and the cardstock on the covers is pretty great. Even if for some of them, like Heavy Metal Drummer, they're a little bit of a smaller size. Yes, you missed issue 1. Okay. Okay. That still confuses me because I just got this off of the new release shelf. So maybe this is a reprint of something, or yeah, maybe it's me, Damien. Maybe I'm still a bit confused because they had it at my comic shop on the kind of new release shelf. Whereas if it was already further on, unless they just got it in, you know what I mean? Maybe it came out. Oh, did it say 2021 in there? Maybe I just misread it, Damien. Sorry. I guarantee this is me that's misunderstanding. So Heavy Metal Drummer, I read the first 3 issues. This is a blast. This is ridiculous. It's colorful. It's psychedelic. It's a wild read, man. So I had to go back today because I missed issue number 2. Issue number 2 was on the shelf at Galaxy, and I just got confused because there's no numbers on the front here. There's no numbers on the back. And then on the inside cover of this issue number 2, it doesn't say chapter 2 like it does for chapter 1 and chapter 3. You can see here chapter 3 there. So it kind of pissed me off a little bit that I missed the issue. So I went back this afternoon before our chat just to make sure that I picked it up. Because I did want to see the whole story. I did want to read the entire 3 issues today. So that's issue number 2, and then issue number 3. All of them have these wraparound covers, and they had a couple of different cover options at Galaxy. I just grabbed these ones. No particular reason. They stood out a little more. This was great when he kind of goes and kills the creature, basically, and decapitates them, puts the head through into this alternate dimension, and is told to let go. You must let go now, is what he says there, as he's putting the head through this void so they can absorb it and decompose it, and it turns to dust. And then he gets regenerated somewhere. So there's some just wacky shit going on here, but it's a great book. And the other thing that I do like about it is kind of the rawness of the art style. Like it's not polished whatsoever. It has that what I love, what you all know that I love with this kind of 80s indie kind of influence on the art style, but also kind of like this role-playing game sort of look to the characters as well too. This feels like a setup to a yeah, absolutely right, where they're looking at the decapitated body and speculating on what's going on. Yeah, absolutely, Damien. But this really feels like it's just a lead up to, you're going to get to a certain point, and then they're going to announce that they've got an RPG of this that you can start playing. You're going to hit a certain point, and then you start playing yourself, you know. So I really like it. I'm sticking with it for sure. Yeah, again, cover stock, everything about it is really on point there for that one. Murder Falcon. Only have the 4 issues, 4 to number 4 to number 7. And this is fun. I kind of get the gist of what's going on, but again, for some of this stuff, you don't really need to know too much. It's guys that play in a band. When they play their instruments, they have control over these giant creatures, and they come and fight. And there's a bad guy that's trying to basically break into our reality and probably imprison everybody for for all I remember. But this is a lot of fun. Daniel Warren Johnson is a great artist. He's got a really great style. I love the roughness of his artwork as well too. And those wings look like parts from Zippo lighters now that I'm looking at it again. So that's a pretty fun one. I'm going to keep my eyes open for more of that. What else did I talk about? This. We haven't talked about this. We didn't talk about that. We talked about this. Okay, so again, just for the quick wrap up, then we'll get into some new stuff that I didn't talk about. Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, 5 and 6. Love this book. Issue 5, I think it was 4 and 5. The end of 4 started to lose me. 5, I wasn't really on board as much. I was a little worried, to be honest, reading issue 5. I was kind of unsure of where this was going because it seemed to all of a sudden be taking some strange turns. And then issue 6 came right back into what I love about this book, the first 3 issues, that kind of mystery, little pieces of the puzzle starting to drop into place. We learn more about our main character. We see kind of the aftermath of what happened in issue number 5 without spoiling too much. But this is a great book. I'm back to enjoying it. I was mildly worried, and then thankfully I had nothing to worry about. Maybe we'll talk about this, and maybe I won't talk about it too much because I would be curious to hear what both Damien and Rasa had to say. But first of all, beautiful cover on Two Moons number 10. So I finally caught up on Two Moons. This is kind of the second arc here. And they're coming back for more. And I am not coming back. I'm tapping out at this point. I find I'm really disappointed in this second arc. I'm very disappointed. I feel like the whole thing was all over the place. This one starts to tie things up. There was actually a couple of things in here that just bugged me. I talked this afternoon about The Storyteller, and that was written by an Indigenous woman, an Apache woman, apparently. And it's the main character is Apache as well, too. So here we have a book that's kind of taking from I'm trying to choose my words here, kind of taking some ideas and trying to make a story based on some things from another culture. Nothing wrong with that on its surface. Storytelling is storytelling. I just found that this one was a little bit, I don't know. I just didn't dig this one. Every kind of moment of making sure that you know what language it's being translated from. And then at one point, sort of mocking that whole thing. Yeah, like this part here as they're talking and then translated from the grave. And I don't know, it just seemed to take, it's one of those books that I don't really understand what we're supposed to be getting out of this, especially this second arc. I just thought it was really sloppy, and it feels like anytime there's some, and I feel like this happened in the first 5 as well too, near the end there. Anytime like there's this build up to this big intense scene, and then the intense scene lasts for a page or two, and that's pretty much it. And everything is resolved very, very, very quickly. I don't know, man. Yeah, I really had high hopes for this early on, but this just doesn't do it for me. The art in here is fine. I liked it enough. I did have a problem a couple of times with figuring out who was who. But that might be more just my memory because there's been such a gap between issues that I've read. The cover artist on this one, John, is... What cover? We got cover B. So this is cover B art by Chris Bolton and Bill Crabtree. So Crabtree does the coloring, I guess, on this one. And then Bolton, Chris Bolton. And then the artist for the actual book is Valerio Giangordiano. Yeesh. So yeah, my disappointment was huge by issue 10 of Two Moons. As you're implying, they don't seem to respect their characters anymore, and maybe not the audience either. And when the hero decides it's good to leave his son in the white man's prison, I thought it was bullshit. Yeah, it really just rang kind of like an UGG kind of ending. So I mean, I'm glad that it's successful for them. I'm glad that they're successful enough that they're coming back, but I'm not doing it. Yeah, it's the same team, just different colorists. So same writer, but I have a feeling Gore, and I think Damien and I were speaking about this too. I have a feeling that it was never supposed to be more issues. I get the feeling that it was supposed to be a 5-issue story, and then all of a sudden they got picked up for more, and he sort of threw a story together, because the way that the last issue ended, or issue 5, sorry, ended, really left it open to like, oh, tune in next month and we're gonna now come back with another few issues. So this felt really thrown together. But I'm just not willing to kind of commit to any more issues past this to see if that kind of rectifies itself. Maybe now that he's built up some steam, maybe it's like a band's second album, right? It's like it's the hardest one to kind of come together. And then by the third one, they figured it out again after having their first hit. So yeah, disappointment for sure. Hello, Why Not Art? How the heck are you, man? I saw your video, by the way. Everybody else here that might not have seen Why Not Art's video, he was doing. He showed a piece that he did of people in the comic community. I commented on it there, Tony. I'm not sure if you've seen it or not, but amazing stuff. It looks really, really great, and thank you very much for including me in that piece. I really, yeah, it's really nice. I really appreciate it. My wife loved it. She was amazed that, holy shit, somebody's done your art. Like, I showed the family the video, and they all got a huge kick out of it. So I appreciate that, Tony. So I got the Cimmerian, Hour of the Dragon, issue number 1. I'm looking at the cover and I can't remember a damn thing about this issue. I know that I liked it, I think. Yeah, dude, even looking at it, I can't really even tell you. There's a big battle. That's all that I remember. Wow. Well, I guess that speaks volumes, hey? The art is beautiful in this stuff. And again, I've been picking all of these up, so I intend to pick the rest of this up. I think this is this a 2 or 3 issue? I don't remember. They kind of go back and forth between 2-issue arcs and 3-issue arcs. This one probably has the biggest chunk of story in the back. Usually it's a couple of pages like this, but this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know who's reading this stuff. 12 pages. I don't know who's reading this stuff in the smallest text ever. That just is, it looks really, really challenging. It's an absolute novel, Ragamuffin. This is like 100-page paperback stuffed in the back of a comic here. So, I mean, they've been doing that for every single issue, putting the short story, including it over the couple of issues. But this one is, they've really crammed it in there. So, yeah, I mean, I've never read the backup matter at all, John. That stuff that they include in these, I haven't read it once. It's so crazy. There's an evil wizard, an army, and Conan. The original text is a whole novel, 220 pages in the old paperback. Holy shit. So maybe this is a 3-issue run then. So I'm on it. I'm going for it. Because I'm digging some of these. I'm mostly digging the art. There was a couple of stories that I really liked, like Red Nails. I thought was fantastic. That was kind of my introduction, and I thought that was great. But yeah, that says something if I can't really remember much about it. Let's get into this one next. I was so excited to pick these up. I've been loving this book, And what do we got here? So Human Target, book 5 and 6. So I've been really jonesing for this one. I've loved the first 4 issues a lot. I thought it was really well written. The art is really amazing. Um, I love Smallwood so much. He's so great. And following him on Twitter early on when he was showing kind of the process of doing this stuff was a blast as well too. I can say that issue 5 frustrated the absolute shit out of me. Hello, Scott Connor. Issue 5 frustrated the hell out of me with this time jumps and character jumps, and yeah, I really found it difficult to follow. And again, I think that's partially due to the fact that I had such a break between issue number 4 and issue number 5. But by the time I got to the end of this issue, I was honestly, I was really like, fuck this book. Is kind of, I think, what I said out loud. I just found I was so frustrated with this storytelling technique in this one. It just kind of transitioned too much to his childhood, to Fire and Martian Manhunter, to Ice, to this dinner that they're having together, to back and forth, to all over the place. That and it wasn't, for me, it wasn't a smooth transition. It really, really was hard to follow. So I'm so glad that issue number 6. Once I read issue number 6, some of the stuff in here made a little more sense. It started piecing this one together. But I feel like when you're in movies and stuff, you kind of have this opportunity when you're working in film or TV or something. You can sort of blend some of these flashbacks and alternate sequences a little better. It's incredibly hard to do in comics, and this is kind of proof of that, because I just think that it wasn't done in a way, and it has nothing to do with the art style. It was, it was mostly clear who was talking and who was doing what. I just found the transitions a bit jarring, where I couldn't really understand what I was supposed to be seeing and thinking when all of this stuff was coming on, even though I understand the premise of kind of, I can get inside your head and take over by the time it takes you to pass the salt to me across the table. Like, I understand that basic premise of what they were going for, like looking at this segment in time, this really small chunk of time, and expanding on that moment. I understand that. I just think that it was a fail for my sense, from my side of things, because I just couldn't make heads or tails of it. But his art was beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I feel like he tried a little bit with the colors there, Ragamuffin. Um, but yeah, I mean, something like that might have worked as well too, because it really does just blend together when the panels are kind of laid out the same way. So that said, though, when it came to issue number 6, I was kind of back on board, and this one had some great moments again with this whole idea that at the end of the day, people have said that I think Tom King just hates superheroes. I think that might be true. Reading an issue like this one, to when we see what happens to Guy Gardner there, which I maybe won't spoil things, but this I thought was a really great issue. Again, this idea that he's got these 12 days, and he's really going through some shit, but not doing kind of what he feels he should be doing, is hunting for his killer. And he's kind of really caught up in this moment with Ice, this relationship that they have going here, that he's kind of given up on finding out who, because he's enjoying these moments, which is a great idea. I just wonder how it's going to end. I mean, obviously I have my ideas of how it potentially is going to go, but we'll see. And one of the things that popped into my head while reading this one, because now I've read a couple of the previous Human Target stuff, this idea that he really becomes this character, this part that he's playing. Yeah, maybe I won't finish that thought, because that kind of leads into my thoughts on it, and I don't know if I want to speculate too much here, but I just think that there's something to that idea of him kind of absorbing himself in a role, and I think that's going to have something to do with our wrap up here, whatever issue it is. I imagine issue 12. So, and I'll stop right there with showing the pages, because this is kind of where it gets great with Guy Gardner. I got a kick out of it anyway. I had a good laugh when I saw what happened to him, jackass that he is. So good book. I'm back to really digging it. Shapeshifters we talked about. Um, yeah, in my broken record, buy Jim Henson's Storyteller. Just buy it. Just pick it up. If you see it, just pick it up. Just give it a try. But honestly, issue number 2 of 4 for this Shapeshifters. This is probably one of the strongest issues I think I've read in a long time in the Storyteller, and that's saying a lot because I really love this series. But this one was a very, very touching story. Really, really great. Highly, highly recommended on that one. One of the other things that they had at Galaxy was issue 1 of The Killer. Thank God. I think this might have, they only might have had like 2 issues of this left on the shelves. So thankfully I was able to grab one. I ended up reading this one tonight after our chat. And then I had a quick reread of issue number 2 to kind of put it into perspective. Man, oh man, am I ever excited about this series. This really is so good. This is a good reminder of kind of what drew me to this book the very first time I read the very first Killer run. I don't know if Gore is still here and what your thoughts are on these 2 issues, Gore, but a hell of an opening. So we kind of get our intro scene, and then we get introduced to our main character again, and it really, within these kind of first 2, maybe it was 3 pages. Yeah, I would say that within these first 3 pages or so, 2 or 3 pages, he really sets, they really set a tone for this book and really remind you this character's outlook on things. It's pretty fucking bleak and pretty grim. Killing someone isn't always the worst thing you can do to them. I'm not saying that to downplay what I do or anything. It's just the truth. Sometimes you can make someone's life far worse than death. You can humiliate them, enslave them, torture them, rape them, inflict wounds they never get over. But when you die, everything comes to a halt. No more suffering. It's back to oblivion. Probably never should have crawled out of there in the first place. Sure, some folks imagine you go to limbo or heaven or hell, but even those who believe in the afterlife, resurrection, or the last judgment will do just about anything to keep from dying, make all kinds of promises, all kinds of compromises, abase themselves, put up with anything. We can't help it. It's the animal instinct buried deep down inside. Dogs, birds, fish, every other creature there is, they all fight, squirm, and wriggle to do their damnedest to escape the great big nowhere, even or especially if there's no hope of doing so. It's like, fuck me, man. That is it's such a powerful 2 pages. Like, that really sets the tone for who this guy is and what this book is. It's beautiful stuff. It's really great. So I'm very, very excited. Out of all the stuff I've read, like, Storyteller, absolutely a high point for me this week. But honestly, this knocks it out of the park. I'm so incredibly excited about this series. And it's funny because even looking at the art, which I did a couple of times through this, I'm not that crazy about the character drawing, but I think it fits perfectly with this story. And yeah, we get a little bit of a taste of what's happened to him in the meantime since the last series, and it doesn't feel like info dumping. It feels like a natural progression in the writing. I think it's just done really masterfully, like this storytelling here. And again, now that I've read this one, now that I know what happens in issue 2 already, this idea of, again, following this guy around and seeing what happens in issue 2, and how the story just shifts immediately and kind of takes you on a different path. I know that we're in for something here, and I don't really know what's gonna happen, but goddamn, am I ever looking forward to it. So as far as I'm concerned, this sucker could go on 12 issues at this point, and I'm absolutely on board. I read it out loud. Yeah, sounds great. It is great, John. It's really, really great. I haven't sat and read the first two volumes again, but I do intend to do that because this is going to be something. So there's issue number 2, which we talked about, I think, last week or the week before, whenever it was, possibly last week anyway. So if you can find that, I would suggest grabbing it. Telling you, man. And again, like the cover stock and everything, the quality of the Archaia stuff is really exceptional too. So goddamn, I love that one. I really honestly can't wait. Like I say that about very few books, but I can't wait until the next issue comes out. I feel like once it's out, I'm taking a special trip to whatever comic shop, even if I just pick up that one issue. That's the one that I'm going to pick up. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Maybe I pronounced it wrong. Archaia. Not really sure how to pronounce that, but there's the company there, John. We talked about that, and the other thing, that was it, really. I did read this back issue this week as well, too, this Adventures into the Unknown. It has some, I'm guessing, reprints of older comics. This one was pretty fun, sort of along the lines of an unexpected kind of like horror anthology book here. Dog Days, that was a pretty fun one. That Dog Days story was pretty great. Chaos and Comics, how are you, man? But this Timeless Tribe, I think, was kind of the hit for me in this story, or in this issue, rather. I thought this was pretty fun. Ken Landau is the artist, I believe, and he's got some great stuff going on here. Let's see. Can you see that? There we go. I love this page. I love the wonky look of her face there. Those backgrounds. She's kind of like transforming, almost coming out of the mist. I think I have to go to Guelph to find that comic. The Dragon has been the go-to place for Saul Press. Oh, that's cool. So this is just a good. This I thought was a really good story. As he kind of discovers, and again, look at that face there. It's just so wonky, but I love it. It's got some very unique style to it. So as he kind of starts to discover, it's an alien race of people that have come down and taken over this kind of abandoned city, and transform themselves to look like human beings. She reveals her true self there, but he's a bit shocked at first, but they do fall in love, of course. And it has a Dan Clowes. It has a Dan Clowes look to the creatures. But yeah, this was a fun little story, and a bit of a touching ending there, as the enemies of this race beam down to find them, and end up killing everybody. And he kind of has his dying moments where he's together again with her in death, just as the final kind of panel there. So really great. There's some Frazetta in here as well too, that's kind of reproduced. I don't know how they reproduced this one, but it looks like it's reproduced from a very not the greatest photocopy, or was it kind of a sketchier type of version, but there's a lot of light lines going on here. So yeah, this was fun. They've done a few issues of this Adventures into the Unknown from A Plus Comics. So another one that I'm going to keep my eyes out for, because I wouldn't mind checking out more of that. And on that note, I think I am done with that. I'm going to sit back tonight. I'm going to read, catch up on Animal Castle, to read 3 and 4 there. Great. It was great to see you all. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Gore Vidal, John DaCosta, Sleepy Reader, Chaos and Comics, Scott Connor, Ragamuffin, of course, the Mighty Muffin, Mr. Muffin, and of course Tony. Nice to see you as well too. So Thanks very much, everybody. And hopefully we'll see you in a couple of weeks. I probably won't be around next weekend for the chat, but we'll see you the weekend after. All right, later.